All right, and we are live for yet again another discussion of GenEd and ProfEd. Exclusive materials, of course, go straight to our growers. Good evening po mga kaguro, maulan na gabi. Okay, I can see all of your comments. You're saying that it's rainy right now in the Philippines. So good evening po, ingat po kayo dyan. Good morning, coming here from South Carolina, USA. It's a beautiful Saturday morning. And of course, we're back for another edition of our GenEd and ProfEd discussion. This is still in preparation for your licensure examination for teachers. Okay, so still today, we are going to have 20 items of GenEd and another 20 items for ProfEd. Make sure that you have your pen and of course your review notebooks with you, because tonight we are going to have a lot of items that are, of course, going to arm you when you take the LET in March, probably in March of next year, okay? Now, if you are still not members of GROW, again, to become a member of GROW, it's very easy. All you need to do is to pay 500 pesos. All the details are there. It can be through Palawan, Cebuana, NL. The name is there, address, phone number. Or another option for you is to send us a super sticker, a super chat during our live streams, but you should go to YouTube for you to be able to pay this. So all you need to do is to link your bank account with your PayPal, Paymaya, your GCash. And of course, you can pay us by sending us your super chat, super stickers. Again, that is through YouTube's live stream. All right? So again, good evening po. Hello sa inyong lahat. Ang dami ng nandito sa ating online classroom nasa YouTube. Ganon din po dito sa Facebook. We're also live on Facebook tonight. Okay? So I'm very glad that you can join us. And I'm super excited to be able to share the items that I have with me tonight. All right? So without any further ado, let's all start. Okay? Ready na yung notes? Sabi ni President Loreto Agbayani Balikaw Jr. Okay? Full name, sir. All right, so we start with question number 1 for GenEd. Okay, number 1, in what sense is the Filipino likened to a bamboo? And you have the choices there. Good evening, Ma'am Grace, Ma'am Christine, Sir Ariel, Ma'am Rose, Ma'am Arlene, Ma'am Priscilla, Sir RL, good evening po. First timer yata, Sir RL, welcome po. Sir Loreto, Sir Jenimar, Ma'am Alfreda, Sir Barbosa, welcome back po. Sir Gino, welcome back. Ma'am Nenidal, Sir Efren, Sir Mark, Sir CK, Sir Ariel, Ma'am Faith. Okay, the rest of you are now on YouTube Classroom. Yes, thank you for reminding them. I'm Priscilla Llamas. Make sure that you are subscribed, you like this video. And of course, if you can share our video, please do share our video, especially those who are on Facebook. Good morning, Sir Nap. Okay, again, please like this video and share it to your friends, the rest of the people who you know are going to take the LET, or just share it on your Facebook account or any of the groups that you have joined on Facebook. All right, so again, number 1, in what sense is the Filipino likened to a bamboo? Okay, and your answers are different, all different. Iba-iba yung answers nyo. May C, may B, meron ding A. Okay, now we know this is a very common expression, especially when we were in our grade school, also in high school, no, sinasabi pa rin ito. We are like bamboos because, is it really because we're sturdy? So sturdy here, of course, this only means that we're strong, we're versatile, okay, we can do anything as Filipinos. We're resilient, that means we do not easily give up, we can easily adjust to a certain situation. Or are we ambitious? Okay, are we ambitious? All right, now the correct answer here, of course, would be it's resiliency. Letter C, we are resilient. That means we can easily adjust to a certain situation. We don't easily give up because we can just adjust to any situation that we find ourselves in. Okay? So we are resilient just like bamboo. So because ano nga ang nangyayari sa ating kawayan kapag may storm, kapag may bagyo, yung kawayan ay hindi siya nababali, hindi siya napuputol dahil nagbibend lamang siya. It sways with the wind. Okay? It sways with the wind of the storm. So letter C is the correct answer. So tama yung sabi ni Sir Nap, babangon kahit natutumba. Okay? So hindi siya napuputol. What we do is we bend with the times, we bend with the challenges that we are faced. Kunwari ngayon sa time ng pandemic, no, dahil marami sa atin hindi nakakapunta sa ating trabaho or marami na wala ng trabaho, ngayon yung ginagawa ay naging online seller. Okay? So online seller ngayon, yung inyong motto ngayon is PM is the key. Okay? So kung kayo po ay isang online seller, malay nyo yung isa sa mga classmates nyo dyan, ibibili na inyong paninda, ilapag nyo na po ang inyong paninda. Okay? So mag-sell na. All right, so again, for number 1, that's letter C, he is resilient. Now we go to number 2. Under which group do the Sunday churchgoers in a cathedral fall? Is it primary group, family group, elementary group, or secondary group? Okay, so this one is in the category of social studies. First question, ligwak na. Unang point, no count. Bogs na agad. Kakabalik lang. Okay, again, if you're watching this on Facebook, make sure that you like, you react to our video, and make sure that you share this to your friends. Share it on your accounts. So we can help more people like you pass the let. Good evening po sa inyong lahat na nandyan sa Facebook. I can see all of you. Ang dami na nasa Facebook. Ma'am Joy Dairit, nasa Facebook ka ngayon. Okay, good evening, Sir Santi Santos. Watching from Tondo, Manila. Good evening, Ma'am May Cabarles. Sir Blue, good evening po. Nasa Facebook siya ngayon. Hello, Ma'am Shanjana Bansil Yusuf from Damam, KSA. Sa Bahalkel. Good evening, Ma'am Nezay. Ma'am Sandy Roque, good evening po. Sir Jeffrey, nasa Facebook ka? So again, please do share our video, like our video, and also please react to our video. Okay, so we can share our items with more people. Ayaw na daw ni Sir Blue sa section Maharot at ni Sir Jeffrey Arida. All right, so again, number 2, under which group do the Sunday church goers in a cathedral fall? Now, your choices are there. If you are in Grow, you know that I have already given you the materials for the different groups that we have, the different social groups that we have in social studies. And we know that when we say social groups, these are groups of people that have the same interests, they have the same goal, and we have 2 major types of these groups. Okay, so 2 major types of our social groups. The first one would be primary group, the second one would be the secondary group, of course. And when we say primary group and secondary group po would have more influence on you as a person. Okay, more influence on you as a person. For example, nito would be your very close friends and of course your family. Okay, your family and your very close friends, those are the members of your primary group. So they have really influenced your life. They've really shaped you as a person. Now, your secondary group naman, they don't have as much influence on you as a primary group, but you may have the same goal, you may have the same task, you may have the same interests. So for example, your social clubs, for example, this one, your section in Facebook, okay? So yung section natin dito in our online classroom that can be called a secondary group. So they can have some influence in your life. You are working together towards one common goal or one goal, and that is to pass the let. Now, in this case here, so of course, in our question here, under which group do the Sunday churchgoers in a cathedral fall? We cannot say it's a primary group. Of course, we also cannot say it's a family group, hindi din elementary group. And so the correct answer would be letter D, secondary group po. Letter D, secondary group. Thank you for sharing our video, Ma'am Samantha Moralde. Okay, Sir Reynald Galvan used to be our student, now a licensed professional teacher. Good evening, sir. Watching from Iloilo. All right, so again, number 2, that's letter D. Letter D po, nasa grow na po itong ating material na to. Okay, so again, number 2, that's letter D, secondary group. All right, now we go to the next question. Number 3, which among the following is an example of a transfer payment? Is it letter A, rent, letter B, profit, letter C, government purchase, letter D, unemployment benefits? Ligwak, Ma'am Samantha Moralde on Facebook. Okay lang po yan, ma'am. All right, now I'd like to welcome all those people who are watching us on Facebook, because a lot of you are first-timers. We have been doing this live stream since last month. We have just started our YouTube channel. We started this in February. We used to be StudyLink Review and Tutorial Center. Our Review and Tutorial Center used to be located in Iloilo City. I'm Ma'am Mexaison Manaay. I used to teach in Ateneo de Iloilo, also taught in Saudi Arabia in an international school. Now I'm teaching here in Manning High School, Manning, South Carolina. I'm teaching high school science in the US. Okay, so our review center is now closed. And because of the pandemic, a lot of you are very lucky because we were able to make our YouTube channel, okay? Because we have a lot of materials that we know can help you pass the let, okay? Now, our live streams, of course, are free. But if you'd want to get more materials from us, more exclusive materials from us, especially the feedbacks coming from our students, the actual let items that came out in the previous let, then you can choose to join Grow. Again, the details are found at the beginning of this video. I'll also be repeating the details between the GenEd and ProfEd discussion that we have today. Okay, so again, in this month of August, our live streams would be Saturdays and Sundays, 7 p.m. Philippine time. Okay, now a lot of us are going back to school. I'm also going back to school on Monday. So medyo busy na tayo, and so our live stream schedules would only be during the weekend. Thank you, Sir Reynald. Please do share our video again for everyone. Please share our video. All right, so again, for question number 3 here, this is still in the category social studies. Which among the following is an example of a transfer payment? Now, bago natin sagutin ito, let's take a look at the meaning of a transfer payment. A transfer payment, also called a government transfer or simply transfer, is a redistribution of income and wealth by means of the government making a payment without goods or services being received in return. So that means the government is paying you something without the government taking something from you. So wala kang binenta, wala kang binigay na serbisyo sa gobyerno, pero binigyan ka ng pera. So example nito would be your SAP, okay? Your ayuda. Ang ating ayuda would be one example for this. So which one is an example here of a transfer payment? Is it our rent, our profit, government purchase, unemployment benefits? Of course, we cannot say rent dahil lang rent nga, meron kang binibigay na serbisyo, okay? There is something in return. Sabi dito, without anything received in return. It cannot be profit. Profit po would be your yung kita, no? Yung kita mo sa negosyo. So, for example, bilang online seller, pag meron kang profit, that means kita mo na siya. Government purchase, you also cannot choose this as a correct answer because this means kung anong binili ng gobyerno. So, sabi nga dito, when you say transfer payment, it is, the government is not paying for a good, it is not paying for a service. So, wala siyang binibili. So, then the correct answer, of course, would be the unemployment benefits. Unemployment benefits. I'm not sure if we have that in the Philippines. Okay, so yung SAP po natin is based lamang sa ginagawa sa listahan ng DSWD, no? Minsan influence din of course ng ating mga barangay chairman. Alam ko marahil iba sa inyo hindi naka-receive ng SAP. But here in the US, meron silang tinatawag na unemployment benefits, especially if you got laid back because of or laid out because of the pandemic. Kung nagsarado yung restaurant nyo, kung nung kasagsagan ng pandemya, no, nag-start talaga, nag-close yung lahat ng restaurants or na lay off ka, then you are eligible to receive unemployment benefits. So some of the people that I know, they received as much as $700 for a week dahil nawalan sila ng trabaho. Okay, so unemployment benefits, yung ayuda nga galing sa gobyerno. That's one example of that. All right, now we go to number 4. Karamihan sa inyo ligwak in our first 3 questions. So malay natin makakabawi na kayo. Meron pa tayong last 17 questions, no? Next 17 questions. All right, now we go to number 4, category math. Oh no, sorry, this is not math. This is social studies. You have a property worth 500,000 pesos. The tax is 1%. So you pay 5,000. If this property is worth 1 million, you need to pay 10,000 pesos. What does this illustrate? Is this equality, equity, uniformity, or D, progressive? Okay, binigay ko na ito sa inyo in our previous live stream last weekend. Good evening po sa inyong lahat na nandyan sa Facebook. Good evening sa lahat na nandyan sa Pilipinas. Good morning here in the US. And of course, kung saang mang sulok ng mundo kayo, good evening po, good afternoon, good morning. All right, now I'd like to thank, of course, our konsyala, Ma'am Joy Dairit. Maraming salamat sa inyong maagang pakape, maagang paayuda, no? Transfer payment ni Ma'am Joy through our super chat, super sticker here on YouTube. Sir Maximar Bolante, good evening po. New member. Okay, may bago kayong recruit sa ating YouTube account, YouTube channel. Okay, now a lot of your answer with the letter B. Dito sa Facebook, ano po yung answer ninyo? Okay, so Ma'am Ivy, B, Sir Edward, B, Ma'am Biniel, B, Ma'am Anime, B. So karamihan letter B. All right, so again, last weekend, I've talked to you about the different properties, no, the different characteristics of a good tax system. At sabi natin, a good tax system should be productive. So that means it should yield, it should give the government enough resources. It should also be elastic or progressive. So that means if the national income increases, dapat yung tax revenue na collecting tax ng ating gobyerno should also increase. It should be diverse. That means there should be different types or different forms of tax. There should be equity or fairness. So that should be equally distributed based on your ability to pay. So depende sa income mo, mas mataas na income, mas malaking tax. And it should be flexible. That means it can easily be adjusted. It can be increased, it can be decreased. So sa makatuwid, the correct answer would be letter B. Letter B po, that would be equity. Oh, sorry po, Sir Biniel. Okay, so Sir, si Sir Biniel. All right, so again, for number 4, that's letter B, equity. Now we go to number 5. This is still social studies. What does the digital divide refer to? Number 1, the gap between people with effective access to digital and information technology and those who have limited or no access at all. Number 2, the imbalance both in physical access to technology and the resources and the skills needed to effectively participate. Number 3, the gap in the ages of ICT users. And then you have the choices that you have there at the bottom. Ano kaya yung tamang sagot? Oh, si Mami Death daw nadi-distract dahil nandiyan si mama niya. Ano bang kinoment ni Ma'am Death? All right, so again, this question is still under the category of social studies. Okay, some of you are already answering. Those of you who are on Facebook. Okay, good evening po sa inyong lahat na nandyan sa Facebook. Ma'am Salven John, no, Sir Salven John, Ma'am Will, who started a watch party. Thank you po. Sir Biniel, Ma'am Maricel, nag-watch party din sila. Thank you po. Ma'am Asuncion, Ma'am Maricel, Ma'am Samantha, thank you for sharing our video. Okay, so again, we are talking of the digital divide here. Okay, digital divide. At tamang-tama, ito ngayon ay napapanahon, no? Dahil nga sa online teaching na nangyayari ngayon because of the pandemic. We cannot really teach one-on-one. Okay, hindi tayo makapagturo one-on-one. And so, ano nga ba yung ibig sabihin ng digital divide? Is it letter number 1, the gap between people with effective access to digital and information technology and those who have limited or no access at all? Number 2, the imbalance both in physical access to technology and the resources and the skills needed to effectively participate. Or number 3, the gap in the age. Okay, so sa edad, yung gap in the ages of the ICT users. Is it 1 only? 1 and 2, 1, 2, and 3, or 2 and 3. Okay? Now, the correct answer here, of course, would be letter B, 1 and 2 only. The age po does not matter. Okay? Yung edad po nila, yung age po nila ay hindi included. So, what's included is that many of the people that we have, many students especially, no, ito yung problema sa karamihan ng mga tao na nasa Pilipinas ngayon. Many of them do not have access to digital information. Wala silang laptop, wala silang device, at marami din ay walang internet, okay? Or pwede ding wala silang skill, okay? So, 1 and 2 would be the correct answer. Hindi po kasama yung age, okay? So, number 3 kasi is age ng ating users. All right, so again, number 5, the correct answer would be letter B. Now we go to the next item, which is referred to, or which refers to a single phrase or word that tells a computer to do something with a program or file. Is it letter A, command, letter B, password, letter C, computer program, letter D, computer language? Okay, ano kaya yung tamang sagot for question number 6? Again, good evening po sa lahat ng mga tao na nandito sa Facebook. Karamihan kasi sa inyo ay first-timers. We have been doing this for more than a month already, our live streams, I mean. Okay? Now, again, if this is your first time to tune in to us, make sure that you are subscribed to our YouTube channel. Also, please like our Facebook page, share our video, have a watch party. This is StudyLink Puro Pinoy. We used to be StudyLink Review and Tutorial Center. Used to own this review center in Iloilo City back when we were still in the Philippines. I'm a teacher. My major is biology. Used to teach in Ateneo de Iloilo. I've also taught in Saudi Arabia. Now I'm teaching here in the US in Manning High School, Manning, South Carolina. And so our review center is closed, but we still would want to help people pass the let. And so we're doing these live streams. Okay, so you can be assured that what we're doing is correct. And what the items that we have are legitimate items. No, these are all previous items in the LET. These are items from our test bank. These are items that came from the feedbacks of our former students. So again, welcome po to StudyLink Gurong Pinoy. Make sure that you are subscribed to our YouTube channel. Go back to our YouTube channel and check all the videos that we have for GenEd. We have the GenEd playlist, ProfEd playlist, and of course, we also have the GenEd and ProfEd live streams playlist for all the past live streams that we have. Okay, I'm pretty sure you are going to be learning a lot of stuff from all the discussion that we've had. Now, again, make sure that you have your notebooks with you when you are answering so that intact po lahat ng notes ninyo. Okay, Sir Bold Storiaga, thank you for sharing our video. Thank you for having a watch party, Sir Kerson Yanan, Ma'am Sandy Roque. Again, if you'd want to receive our exclusive materials through our exclusive FB group, you can also join us in GROW. Okay, that's Gurong Pinoy Review Online Work Group, and the details of that on how to join can be found at the beginning of this video. Okay, Ma'am Norahana Esmael, Kapitana, thank you po. Maraming salamat po for your ayuda. Okay, so again, number 6 here. which refers to a single phrase or word that tells the computer to do something with a program or file. Okay, ano kaya yung tamang sagot? A lot of you on YouTube are answering with the letter A. Dito sa Facebook, let me check. Okay, karamihan din sa kanila letter A. And that is the correct answer. Okay, so single phrase or word, these are what we call command. Okay, command po yan. Examples would be delete, escape, copy, paste, cut, enlarge, edit. Okay, so these are all commands. Okay, command po itong tinatawag natin. So these are single phrases or word that tells the computer to do something with a program or file. Hindi po password, hindi po computer program, hindi po computer language. All right, so again, the correct answer would be letter A, that's command. Command po. All right, now we go to number 7. Which application program provides users with a means to organize and present information through the use of text, numbers, formulas, graphs, and visual images? Is this letter A, publisher, letter B, spreadsheet, letter C, word processing, letter D, telegram? Okay, sayang, Sir Alvi, pinalitan. Sabi ko sa inyo, your first choice is usually the correct answer. Okay, so wag po kayong mag-change ng inyong first choice unless you have a valid reason. Okay, ganun din naman sa pag-ibig. Minsan feeling mo yung first love mo, siya na talaga, no? Hanggang kasalan na. But if you have a valid reason, then you also need to choose or to change the person that you love. Ika nga nila sa Frog Prince, kailangan mo munang halikan yung maraming palaka bago mo makita yung prinsipe. Okay? But the most important thing is that you're learning. Ganon din dito sa LET. Alright, so again, good evening po sa lahat na nandito sa Facebook. Okay, welcome po to Steadily Gurong Pinoy. If this is your first time to watch us, make sure that you you follow our Facebook page, so that you are going to be informed of the next videos that we have. And also, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel and go back to all the live streams that we've had. We have our separate playlist for our previous live streams. So there's GenEd ProfEd playlist. There's also GenEd playlist. There's also ProfEd na separate playlist. Sir Mark Anthony Legaspi, one of our alumni. Thank you po for watching. Sir Mark, coming from... He's already teaching in Thailand. Good evening po, Sir Mark. And thank you for sharing this with your friends. Okay, so going back here, number 7, sabi ng number 7 mo, which application program provides users with a means to organize and present information through the use of text, numbers, formulas, graphs, and visual images? Is this publisher? Letter B, spreadsheet. Letter C, word processing. Letter D, telegram. Okay, now a lot of you have been answering with the letter B. Okay, dito sa YouTube, maraming letter B. Ganun din sa Facebook. Ang dami din letter B. Sir Biniel, nag-change pa ng answer. Instead of C daw, letter A siya. But the correct answer, of course, would be letter B. Spreadsheet po, that's your Excel. Okay, so Microsoft Excel is an example of your spreadsheet. So that would be the correct answer. So we can, of course, present our data using text, may numbers, may formula. Yan yung pinaka-importante. Ba tayo gumagamit ng ating Excel, no? Very convenient, very easy for us to solve. And then you also, of course, have graphs, visual images. Okay, so spreadsheet is the correct answer. All right, now we go to number 8. Why is the Philippines much hotter than Canada? The Philippines has days with more hours of light, has a denser population than Canada, has more vegetation to absorb light, or receives sun rays closer to vertical position. Okay, ano kaya yung tamang sagot for question number 8? This is in the category of science. Again, if this is your first time to watch us, make sure that you follow our Facebook page. You also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Gurong Pinoy. We are studying Gurong Pinoy. We are an expert in the licensure examination for teachers. We've been doing this for more than 10 years already. We're also catering civil service examination students, MTOT, and other review tests that we have, other examinations that we have. So make sure that you are subscribed to our YouTube channel. Go check all of the videos that we have that can help you pass the let. We have our separate playlist for GenEd, separate playlist for ProfEd. Then, of course, we have our, most importantly, GenEd and ProfEd playlist for all the live streams that we've had. Okay, the previous live streams that we have. Okay, now a lot of you are answering with the letter D. Ganon din dito sa Facebook. Karamihan din ay letter D. And that is the correct answer, okay? So, mas mainit sa atin dahil nga we receive sun rays closer to vertical position because we are located very near the equator, okay? Very near the equator. And so, yung sun's rays is close to vertical, halos vertical na, hindi naka-angle yung sun's rays sa atin. Sa Canada, or even here in the US, nasa North America kasi sila, kaya hindi masyadong mainit dahil nga naka-anggulo yung sinag ng araw, okay? So that's why damang-dama mo dito yung winter, damang-dama mo yung summer. Kapag summer, mahaba talaga yung sinag ng araw. Sinabi ko na to sa inyo dati, it's 8 o'clock, for example, it's 8 o'clock at night, pero yung sikat ng araw ay parang alas 2 pa ng hapon, no? Parang alas 3 ng hapon. Okay, so mabagal, matagal siyang dumilim kapag ka ngayong summer. Pero pag winter naman, November to January, February, kahit alas 4 ng hapon ay madilim na. Okay, because of course, nakaanggulo yung sinag ng araw. All right, so the correct answer would be letter D. Now we go to number 9. Which of these methods uses microorganisms to clean up toxic waste? Is it letter A, microbial culture, letter B, deforestation, letter C, carrying capacity, letter D, bioremediation? Hi, Sir Pinoypreneur on YouTube. Okay lang po yan, sir. Habol po tayo. Wala yata si Sir, yung collab team ni Ma'am Tin. Wala. Si Sir Omar, absent ngayon. Good evening, Ma'am Sheila Victor. First time yata ni Ma'am Sheila. Sheila ba? Good evening po. Oh, wala si Sir Omar. Sir Mark, I see you both on YouTube and Facebook then. Sir Jeffrey. Si Ma'am Joy nasa YouTube din. Nandito din sa Facebook kanina. Again, thank you so much for sharing our video, for starting your watch party. I can see all of you, all of those people who have shared the video, Sir Bolster Yaga, and also those who've started the watch party, Sir Rafi, Ma'am Kimberly, Sir Arkim, or Ma'am Arkim, Sir Biniel, Sir John Christopher. Thank you po for watching and for sharing our video. Ma'am Serendipity, thank you po. Ma'am Lani Jean. All right, now many of you are answering with the letter D sa Facebook. Dito naman sa YouTube, karamihan din ay letter D. Ma'am Norilyn Dorado, tama po yan. Mas interactive po kayo, mas nagiging meaningful po yung learning. Sabi ni Ma'am Norilyn dati, nakikinig lang siya, but now, she tries to answer. Tama po yan. All right, so again, going back to question number 9 here, category would be science. Which of these methods uses microorganisms to clean up toxic waste? Okay, ano nga ba yung term na ginagamit ito? This is under ecology, no, the study of the environment. Study of the ecosystems. Microbial culture, pag sinabi mo microbial culture, kino-culture natin, pinapadami natin yung mikrobyo sa lab, maaring dahil gusto nating i-study, no? Ito yung ginagamit ng ating mga scientists when they are culturing, when they are growing microbes or organisms inside the laboratory. Deforestation, ito po yung opposite ng reforestation. When you say reforestation, you're trying to revive the forest, okay? So you are planting trees, tree planting yung reforestation. Pag sinabi mong deforestation, this means you are cutting down trees, okay? So cutting down trees. Carrying capacity, this is also a term which is very common in ecology. Lumalabas din po ito sa LET. So dapat po ay alam nyo kung anong meaning ng carrying capacity. Carrying capacity means the maximum number of organisms that can be supported by the environment. So again, when you say carrying capacity, this is the maximum number of organisms that can be supported by the ecosystem or by the environment. So that means pag sumobra na sa carrying capacity, maaring marami nang magkakasakit, marami nang mamamatay. But bioremediation is our correct answer. Bioremediation is the use of microorganisms to clean up toxic waste. Okay, so letter D po is the correct answer. Letter D is the correct answer. All right, so I hope you got the correct answer. Now we go to number 10. If you lower the frequency of a wave in a string, you will lower its speed, shorten its period, lower its amplitude, or letter D, increase its wavelength. Ano kaya yung tamang sagot? Oh, round up, Sir Maximar? Sayang. Okay, Sir Jeffrey nandito pala. Nasaan si Sir Omar? Hinahanap. Mag-shoutout muna ako sa akin pong asawa. Gutom po ako. Please po, padala niyo ako ng pagkain dito sa taas. If you are awake, Sir Ram, please send me some food. Thank you po. Sana all may asawa, sabi ni Ma'am Rafaela. Okay, so again, going back to the topic that we have here, Ma'am Cherry Lamzon Pedregosa, thank you po for watching. Used to be also our student, now a licensed professional teacher. Okay, so again, going back to the question that we have here, if you lower the frequency of a wave in a string, what will happen? If you lower the frequency of a wave, would you lower its speed, shorten its period, lower its amplitude, or increase its wavelength? So una-una, para masagutan natin itong maayos, i-define muna natin itong mga terms na meron tayo dito sa ating question. Hindi ko na i-define itong speed, no? Of course, you know what speed is, okay? That's how fast an object is, okay? So how fast an object is, that would be speed. Now, the first two terms that we have are amplitude and wavelength, okay? Pag sinabi pong amplitude, this is the height of a wave as measured from the highest point or from the lowest point. So, for example, your line here, itong vertical line na to, horizontal line na to, this is your line or point of reference. Your amplitude is the height of your wave. So that means from this line going to the highest point or to the peak, which is called the crest. Okay, so yan po yung iyong amplitude. Or pwede din naman na from that line, going down, going to the dips of your wavelength or of your wave na tinatawag na nating trough. Okay, so from this point of reference going down to the trough, or from that point of reference going to your crest, that's your amplitude. Common term po for layman's term for amplitude would be volume. Okay, volume would be amplitude. Now, sinasabi namang wavelengths would be the length of a wave from one crest to the next. So, pinapakita din dito ng ating illustration, no? Yung wavelength mo would be from crest to crest, or pwede din namang from trough to trough. So that's your wavelength, okay? So again, amplitude would be the highest or the lowest points, okay? So from the crest going to your reference, from the trough going to your reference, that's amplitude. Wavelength would be from crest to crest or from trough to trough, okay? So that's your wavelength. Now we go to the next two terms that we have here. Frequency is the number of complete cycles or oscillations that occur per second. So frequency po would be how many cycles are there in 1 second. That's the frequency. Okay, so for example, here in our illustration, we are given 1 second. and the number of cycles, that's going to be your frequency. Your period naman is the amount of time it takes a wave to complete one full cycle of oscillation or vibration. So period naman would be the amount of time. So this is, kung pag sinasabi natin one cycle, okay, from your reference point, going to your crest, passing through the reference point, going to your trough, then going back to your reference point. That's one oscillation, that's one cycle, or that's one vibration. Okay, so yung tinatawag pong period ay yung time kung paano ka makabuo ng isang cycle na to. Ang sinasabi namang frequency ay kung ilang cycles meron ka sa isang segundo. Okay, so in this case here, if we're talking about frequency, if we're trying to get the frequency, that would be 1, okay, 2, then that's 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so your frequency here would be 6 hertz. Okay, hertz po yung unit natin for frequency. Meron tayong 6 cycles sa isang segundo. That's frequency. Yung period naman would be the amount of time that it takes one cycle to be completed. One oscillation, one cycle to be completed. All right, now going back to the question that we have, sabi ng question mo, if you lower the frequency of a wave, okay? So pag ilo-lower mo tong frequency from 6, gusto mo na meron ka lamang isa, meron ka lamang 1 hertz, okay? So what would happen? How can you lower the frequency here? That means you need to stretch your wavelength. Tama po ba? Okay, so dapat i-stretch mo yung isang wave mo, isang oscillation mo, so that you can lower the frequency. And so that means you need to increase its wavelength. So letter D po, increase its wavelength is the correct answer. So tandaan niyo po, this is a common question in the LET. Frequency and wavelength have inverse relationships, okay? So the higher the frequency, the shorter the wavelength. The lower the frequency, the longer is the wavelength of your wave. Okay, so the correct answer again for number 10 would be letter D. Letter D po, that's the correct answer. All right, now we go to number 11, which is or are an example or examples of a way to improve efficiency in transportation. You have number 1, use fuel-efficient cars. Number 2, carpooling. Number 3, use of public transportation. Then you have the choices at the bottom. Okay, ano kaya yung tamang sagot for number 11? Okay, tama. Karamihan sa inyo tama. Ma'am Rona Barco Emboltorio, thank you for watching, ma'am. She's also one of our LET passers. Okay. Now, a lot of you here answer for number 11. Iba-iba yung sagot nyo on YouTube. Sa Facebook, wala pang sumasagot. May tanong si Sir Bold Storiaga. Ma'am, ano namimiss nyong ulam Pinoy? Papadalhan ba ako, sir? Lechon po. Sir Bolds. Thank you po. Meron naman dito mga Asian store at meron namang Asian restaurant. Kaya lang dito sa amin wala talaga. Pero meron din naman nagluluto. No? Merong isang Pinay dito na meron siyang Asian store, maliit na Asian store. And sometimes she would cook. Okay, so pinopost lang niya sa Facebook and then we would go to the store and buy. But then meron din kaming, we have Nanay She. We are very thankful that we have her with us. She is the nanny of Baby Rain since baby pa si Baby Rain, and she's also with us. So nadala namin siya dito sa America, and so we are very lucky that sometimes she would also cook for us. Most of the time ngayon, lalo na ngayon dahil nandito kami. Okay, but next week nga ay back to work na. We're going back to the school. Okay, so because of Nanay She, we don't really miss a lot of food. Nakakaluto siya ng mga sabaw, okay, ng kung anik-anik na Filipino food. Okay, now a lot of you are answering with the letter C on Facebook. Karamihan letter C. Dito naman sa YouTube, okay, marami din C, maraming B. May nagtatanong na, Ma'am Danica Zafra, Ma'am Nek, kailan po ang acquaintance party? Okay, mamaya po ma'am. Abangan po ninyo mamaya or tomorrow morning na dyan sa inyo na maaga, I will be posting something on Gurong Pinoy's Facebook page. Doon na lang kayo mag-comment. Okay, so number 11, a lot of you are answering letter B, others letter C. Okay. All right, so again, number 11, which is or are an example of a way to improve efficiency in transportation? Is it letter A, to use fuel-efficient cars? We know that this is correct. Number two, carpooling. And number 3, use of public transportation. Alam naman natin kung ano itong use of public transportation. So instead of using your car, pwede ka mag-LRT, MRT. Okay, so mag-tricycle, mag-pedicab. Okay, now carpooling is very common here in the US, no? Hindi masyadong common marahil ito sa atin sa Pilipinas. When you say carpooling, that means if you are going to just the same destination, you will not be using separate cars. Magka-carpool lamang kayo. That means you share or you use the same car. So lahat kayo, kahit na for example 5 kayo magkakaibigan, pupunta kayo ng mall, isang mall lang yung pupuntahan ninyo, galing kayo sa bahay ng kaibigan nyo, and so you don't use your separate cars. What you'll do is that you join, all of you would just be in the same car. That's carpooling, okay, which is very common here. Now, the correct answer, of course, would be, since you already know what carpooling is, the correct answer would be letter D. All of these are very good moves, are very good choices for us to improve efficiency in transportation, okay? So, of course, when people would carpool, that means hindi masyadong matraffic. Okay, so we use public transportation. Ganun din yung reason natin why we carpool. And of course, we need to use fuel-efficient cars. All right, so letter D po would be the correct answer for question number 11. Number 12, rock fragments thrown into the air during a volcanic eruption are called letter A, lava, letter B, extrusive, letter C, tephra, letter D, granite. Oh, andyan na yung hinahanap nyo. Good evening, everyone. Sorry na, late ako. Maulan dito ngayon, lamig, sabi ni Sir Omar, Italia. All right, now for number 12, a lot of you are answering with the letter C, others B, meron ding A. Ma'am Twinnie Ibno, good evening po, welcome. First timer yata si Ma'am Twinnie. Okay, now here, sa Facebook, some people are answering with C, others A. Sir Biniel, thank you po. So student pa lang pala si Sir Biniel. But he's already learning. Okay, he's already preparing for his lab. Okay, now iba-iba yung answer niya. May A, B, may C. All right, so number 12, again, rock fragments thrown into the air during a volcanic eruption are called lava, extrusive, tephra, or granite. Now, when you say lava here, of course, we know this. Usually, ito ay kino-compare, kino-contrast sa term na magma. Okay, pag sinabi niyo pong magma, these are molten materials that are found underneath the surface of the earth. Okay, so pag magma, nasa loob pa ng earth. Okay, under pa nasa surface, nasa inside the earth pa, no, yung magma. But when you say lava, this is already molten materials outside of the surface, or on the surface na ng earth, no, outside the earth. So that's lava. So again, magma nasa loob pa, lava pag outside na. Extrusive naman, this is one type of your igneous rock. Remember, we have 3 types of rocks, your igneous rocks. These are rocks coming from molten materials. Your metamorphic rock would be a rock that has changed in form. So originally igneous siya or originally sedimentary siya, but now it has changed into another form because of heat and pressure. Pag sinabi mo namang sedimentary rocks, these are rocks that are from sediments, compaction of sediments, no, cementation of sediments. So these are rocks with different layers. So ito yung sometimes we call this sandwich rocks. Okay, so that's your sedimentary rock. So when you say extrusive naman, this is one type of your igneous rock. So we have two types of igneous rocks. That's your intrusive and extrusive. Intrusive igneous rocks are those that are formed inside the earth. Extrusive igneous rocks naman are formed outside of the earth. Granite here, hindi po granite, that's pronounced granite. This is an example of your igneous rock. Okay, so example na siya ng igneous rock. And so the correct answer here would be tephra. Tephra po yung ating term. For rock fragments that are thrown into the air during a volcanic eruption, we call this tephra. Okay, tephra po would be the correct answer. So letter C is the correct answer for number 12. Now we go to number 13. Why do we hear thunder some seconds after seeing lightning? Letter A, sound travels at 1.33 meter per second. Letter B, sound is released later. Letter C, light travels faster than sound. Letter D, light appears brighter than the sky or brighter in the sky. This is a very common lab question. Again, shout out Sir Ramanaay. If you can hear me downstairs, please send me some food, some biscuit or anything that I can eat. Thank you, Sir Ram. Okay, so Ma'am Cynthia, good job. Correct again. Thank you po for starting a watch party, Sir Rafi, Ma'am Jasmine, Ma'am Chacha. Okay, thank you so much. Sir Arkim or Ma'am Arkim. All right, now a lot of you are answering with the letter C, and that would be the correct answer. Okay, so letter C po, that's the correct answer. So again, light travels faster than sound. If you find it difficult to remember this, then i-alphabetize nyo lamang po. Okay, do it alphabetically. L comes before S. So light travels faster than sound. Okay, now we go to number 14. How may the establishment of housing subdivisions to address housing problems contribute to the decrease of food production? Is it letter A, subdivisions become overcrowded? Letter B, men get employed in construction and leave their farms until, letter C, arable lands are reduced for those are converted into housing subdivisions. Letter D, people who flock to the center where most subdivisions are located have no skill. Okay, ano kaya yung tamang sagot for question number 14? Sir Javier, nandito na Sir Mark. Hinahanap mo kanina. Okay, now a lot of you on YouTube are answering with the letter C. Ma'am Tita Bantasan, good evening po. First time yata ni Ma'am Tita. Also on Facebook, a lot of you are also answering the letter C. Okay, karamihan din sa Facebook have answered letter C, and that is the correct answer. Okay, so that is the correct answer. Letter C, arable lands are reduced for those are converted into housing subdivision. So ginagawa, imbis na farmland siya nung una, ginagawang subdivision. Okay, so nawawalan tayo ng nagdi-decrease yung source of food natin. Food production is decreased. So that's the correct answer for number 14. Number 15, oh sorry, hindi ko nakuha itong, okay, so dapat wala pa ito. Teka ha, ayusin ko lamang. Ganyan talaga kapag ka live. Oh, nakita nyo na yung tamang sagot. Okay, so again, number 15, fog is a cloud with its base at or very near the ground. The formation of fog generally occurs after the ground has lost heat by, I think you have already seen the correct answer, no? Okay, so sabi ni Sir Bold Storiaga dito, no, with regards to question number 14, sabi ni Senator Villar daw, no, arable lands are converted into subdivisions. Okay, so again for number 15, this is a bonus. Nakita nyo na yung tamang sagot because I had to fix the slide. Fog is a cloud with its base at or very near the ground. The formation of fog generally occurs after the ground has lost its heat by radiation. That's the correct answer. Okay, so bonus po. So letter A, that's the correct answer. Now let's try to discuss the things that we have here. No? Ano nga ba yung radiation, conduction, and convection? Now these are three ways po ito through which we can transfer heat. Okay, so these are three ways through which heat is transferred. So unang-una, pag sinabi mo pong conduction, okay, when you say conduction, heat is transferred through the direct method. So that means materials are touching each other. So direkta pong tina-transfer yung heat. Okay, heat is transferred directly between materials. That's conduction. So kalimitan po nangyayari ito sa solid. Okay, so in our solid materials, this is what happens, conduction. So example dito, yung baba lamang nasa ilalim lamang ng kaldero mo, yung nung kaldero mo dito, yung nagtatouch sa ating heat, no, sa source of heat mo, sa fire mo, but eventually, even this side of your cookware and even the handle becomes hot. Okay, so this is conduction. Transfer or direct transfer of heat in solid materials, in objects that are in contact with each other. Okay, so direct transfer of heat in solid materials or in materials that are touching each other. That's conduction. So even if the bottom part lamang would be in contact with fire or with heat, eventually all the rest of the parts of your cookware would also become hot. Okay, that's conduction. Convection naman po, this one happens in fluid. Okay, so your fluid there, this would include liquid. So liquid mo is also fluid. Okay, materials that are flowing. Yan yung sinasabi nating fluid. Okay, so this would include liquid. This can also include your gas particles. Pwede din gas particles. Okay, so that's convection. This is the reason why meron tayong sea breeze and excuse me, and meron tayong land breeze sa beach, no? So pag maaga, pag daytime po, what we have would be sea breeze. Sea breeze po yung meron tayo, and we have land breeze during nighttime. I will not discuss that into details because we are going to have similar items later. Now, radiation naman would be the transfer of heat in open spaces. Okay, so radiation would be the transfer of heat in open spaces. So that's why our answer here would be radiation. The formation of fog generally occurs after the ground has lost heat by radiation. This is the transfer of heat in open spaces. Now, there is another common question with regards to radiation. Yung question po sa let na, how does sunlight reach the surface of the earth? How does sunlight reach the surface of the earth? Your answer would also be through thermal radiation. Okay, so through radiation din po. That's the transfer of heat in open spaces. So again, for number 15, correct answer would be letter A, radiation. All right, now we go to number 16. Lunar eclipse occurs when the Earth passes between the moon and the sun. Eclipse of the moon does not occur each month because the far side of the moon rarely faces the Earth. Letter B, the Earth is usually between the moon and the sun. Letter C, the moon rarely comes close enough to the Earth. Or letter D, the moon's orbit is at an angle to the Earth's orbit. Okay, ano kaya yung tamang sagot for question 16? Speechless si Sir Mark. Hindi nakasagot si Sir Mark. Poor internet connection, Ma'am Edna, and so she transferred here on Facebook. Okay lang po yan. Okay, now a lot of you are answering with the letter C. Karamihan sa inyo letter C, others B. Dito naman sa YouTube, karamihan ay letter D. Okay, so again, going back to the question that we have here, lunar eclipse occurs when the Earth passes between the moon and the sun. Eclipse of the moon does not occur each month because now, if you still have not watched our uh, video on lunar eclipses, on the different types of eclipses, make sure that you watch this. We already have a video on this in our playlist of GenEd, playlist titled GenEd, nasa YouTube channel natin, no? So you watch the different types of eclipses. I've already discussed a lot of things there, and also the different phases of the moon. So again, if this is your first time to tune in to us, make sure that you are subscribed to our YouTube channel, Gurung Pinoy. Make sure that you also follow our Facebook page, that's still Gurung Pinoy. And make sure that you go back to our YouTube channel and watch all the previous videos that we have. We have a separate playlist for GenEd. We also have a separate playlist for ProfEd. And of course, more importantly, we have a playlist for all the previous live streams that we've had. Okay, now the correct answer for this one would be letter D. The moon's orbit is at an angle to the Earth's orbit. Okay, so nakaanggulo siya. So even if naka-align siya sometimes, it would not really make a lunar eclipse. Okay, so that is the main reason. Letter D, the moon's orbit is at an angle to the Earth's orbit. Okay, so again, I will not discuss this in details. I'd like you to go check out our eclipse, types of eclipses na video. Okay, you are going to learn a lot of stuff there, the different types of eclipses, how they occur, what's the easiest way for you to remember them, and also the different terms associated with them, as well as the different phases of the moon. Okay, but number 16 here, it's letter D. Letter D is the correct answer. All right, now we go to number 17. Heat is the total kinetic energy of all the molecules of an object and is measured in calories or Kelvin, joules, Celsius, or Newton. What do you think is the correct answer? Oh, nag-aas ng permission si Sir Mark, ha? Go lang ng go, Sir Mark, para may inspiration. Watching from Tawi-Tawi, Sir Oramanis? Hi lang. Good evening po. First time ni Sir. All right, for number 17, many people on Facebook are answering letter B, others letter A. Here on YouTube, marami C. Marami din A. Okay, so again, going back to the question that we have here, heat is the total kinetic energy of all the molecules of an object and is measured in calories, or let's take a look at your terms here. Kelvin po and Celsius would be both for temperature. Okay, so Kelvin and Celsius, as well as Fahrenheit, of course, those are units for temperature. Your Newton is, of course, a unit for force. Ang joules mo naman, this is a derived quantity, derived unit. This actually equal to Newton meter. So Newton multiplied to meter, that would give you joule. And that would be the correct answer, okay? That is another unit that we use for heat. Okay, so heat is in calories or in joules. Letter B po is the correct answer. Sir R. Kim, hello, watching from Kidapawan City, North Cotabato. Watching from Quezon Province, Sir Rafi Overa. Good evening po. All right, now number 18, baking soda produces carbon dioxide when mixed with. Is it letter A, egg, letter B, water, letter C, sour milk, letter D, flour? Okay, ano kaya yung tamang sagot? For question number 18, baking soda produces carbon dioxide when mixed with, is it letter A, egg, letter B, water, letter C, sour milk, or letter D, flour? Again, if this is your first time to watch us, to join us, we've been doing this for a month already. Make sure that you are subscribed to our YouTube channel. Also, check all the rest of our GenEd, ProfEd, and GenEd ProfEd live stream videos on our YouTube channel. Make sure that you also follow our Facebook page so that you can be informed of the next videos that we have. If you do want to receive some exclusive materials that we have, you can join us through Grow. That's our exclusive Facebook group, and the details of which I am going to give to you in a few minutes. Okay, nandito din po yung details in a few minutes in our slideshow between our GenEd and ProfEd. So again, we are discussing GenEd 20 items and ProfEd 20 items tonight. We're already at number 18 for GenEd. Okay, we still have 2 more after this. Watching from Sarangani Province. Good evening, Sir Mon Lubrino. Okay, now going back to the question that we have here. Baking soda produces carbon dioxide when mixed with. This is a very common experiment, no? If you're a science teacher, if you're going to have a demo, you can use this. I've used this several times as part of my lesson as motivation for the different chemical reactions. So it's very easy. You just have baking soda. So yung balloon po, lalagyan nyo ng baking soda, and then in the bottle here, you have vinegar. Pagkatapos isasalin nyo yung baking soda na nandyan sa balloon into your vinegar. And then what happens is that your balloon gets inflated because of the presence of carbon dioxide. Okay, so because baking soda with the vinegar would produce carbon dioxide gas. But of course, you don't have any vinegar in your choices, but baking soda and vinegar here would produce carbon dioxide because they actually are very reactive with each other. The very good replacement that you can have here for vinegar, you all know vinegar is an acid, and so your good choice here would be letter C, that's sour milk. That is going to be a replacement for vinegar. Okay, so letter C po, sour milk would be the correct answer. So letter C is the correct answer for number 18. Number 18 is letter C. All right, now we go to second to the last for GenEd. A substance that gives up hydrogen ions to form water with hydronium ions is called letter A, salt, letter B, base, letter C, hydroxide, letter D, acid. Liquak, sabi ni Sir Jeffrey. Oh, Sir Jeffrey, nakakita ng forever sa private school. Magkasama sila ng asawa niya sa private school. Magjowa ng teacher, tutulong gagawa ng module nila. Sabi ni Sir Eromanis Haylang. Sana all, Sir Jeffrey. Again, I'd like to welcome all the students that we have watching us through Facebook tonight. Make sure that you are subscribed to our YouTube channel and also follow our Facebook page. In this month of October, we are having our live stream Saturdays and Sundays only because I am going back to school. I teach here in Manning High School, Manning, South Carolina, USA, and so I cannot follow the previous schedule that we have previously kasi last month our schedule was Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. But now po, our schedule would be Saturday, Sunday, 7 p.m. Philippine time. Okay, so that's Saturday, Sunday, 7 p.m. Philippine time. Okay, so again, going back to the question that you have here, a substance that gives up hydrogen ions to form water with hydronium ions is called salt-based hydroxide acid. Now, for the online students that I have, especially yung mga nakasubaybay talaga, no, yung every live stream nandyan, alam niyo that we have already discussed the different chemical reactions that we've had. So meron tayong sinasabing synthesis or combination, yung substance A mo, substance B mo, nag-combine lamang to form substance AB. Okay, so that's synthesis or combination, the first type of chemical reaction. Meron din tayong decomposition. Decomposition naman would be the opposite. So if you have AB, they would split up to give you A and B. Okay, so that's decomposition. Meron ka ding tinatawag na single replacement. So pag meron kang compound AB at meron kang substance C, kinukuha ng substance C yung place ng A to give you BC, tapos yung A ay replace, no? Na replace or na displace. So that's why we call it single replacement. Meron din tayong double replacement. Double replacement mo, you have two compounds and then they switch partners. Okay, so that's double replacement. Now, the fifth type that we have would be combustion. Alam niyo naman kung ano yung combustion. For combustion, a hydrocarbon, a substance reacts with oxygen gas. Okay, so basta may oxygen gas, basta may burning, that is combustion. Okay, so combustion po yan. Now here, we have a special type of chemical reaction which is called neutralization. Neutralization po yung reaction between an acid and a base. Okay, so if it's a reaction between an acid and a base, katulad nitong hydrochloric acid mo, which is an acid, and your sodium hydroxide, which is a base, you'd call this reaction neutralization. Okay, and we said the products would always be salt and water. The products would always be salt and water. So again, this is neutralization. This is a common question in the LET. So tinatanong po kayo ng LET, what do you call the process that occurs when an acid and a base react to form a salt and water? Okay, so then your answer would be neutralization. And neutralization po is one example of double replacement. So actually, double replacement yung neutralization mo because you have two substances, so may dalawang compounds ka, and they exchange partners. Now, going back to the question that we have here, sabi ng question mo, we're looking for the substance that gives up hydrogen ions to form water with hydronium ions. And what do we call this substance? Now, if you have your acid, hydrochloric acid here, okay, your hydrochloric acid actually, if you are going to make this react to your base, which is sodium hydroxide, hydrochloric acid would disintegrate into hydrogen and chlorine. Okay, your base would give you sodium and hydronium. Yung hydronium po nyo, that's OH. Sometimes we call this hydroxide, okay, hydroxide or hydronium. And so what happens is that your chlorine and your sodium would be bonded together. Okay, so your chlorine and sodium bonds together. That would give you your NaCl, which is your salt. This is your table salt. Ito yung tinatawag natin table salt, your sodium chloride. Now, your hydrogen here bonds with your hydronium ions. Okay, so you have two atoms of hydrogen, one hydrogen there, another hydrogen here, and one atom of oxygen. That's why you have H2O or water. Okay, meron kang dalawang atoms ng hydrogen at isang atom ng oxygen. Okay, so then the correct answer here would be, ano nga bang substance yung nagbibigay ng hydrogen? This is your answer here, and that would be an acid. Okay, so letter D, acid po is the correct answer. Okay, letter D, acid is the correct answer. All right, so again, letter D, that's the correct answer for question number 19. We go to number 20. This is the last question for GenEd. But before that, let me just give you some other information with regards to acids and bases because sometimes this would also come out in the LET. Ito po yung mga pagkakaiba between your acids and your bases. Your acids would taste sour, so yung mga lemon mo, calamansi, orange juice, those are acids, okay? Even your soda. They react with some metals to give off hydrogen gas, and they are very good conductors. So very good conductors of electricity ang yung acid. Yung base naman, this would taste bitter. Okay, they would taste bitter. They feel slippery. Yung mga slippery, no? Yung mga, ano nga yung slippery sa Tagalog? This would be your base. They feel slippery. They dissolve fats and oil. So example dito would be your soap, your lotion, your shampoo. These are bases, okay? These are some examples of bases. Now, here, on the bottom, you have your pH range, no? Your pH range here. Okay, sabi ni Ma'am Joy, yung slippery pala madulas. Thank you po. Okay, so your pH range here, you have the range of 0 to 14. This is the measurement of your pH. So, pag sinabi mong neutral substance, the pH would be 7. Okay, pH of your neutral substance would be 7. Now, your substances that have lower pH, pag ang substance mo, ang pH na is lower than 7, so from 6 going towards 0, that is an acid. Okay, so acid po yan. Pag above 7 naman, from 8 going to 14, that's a base. Okay, so base naman po ito. So neutral mo would be 7. So if you can see, dagdag ko lang, no? if you can see ang inyong pH care, no, sa mga babae, sa mga female students natin, no, if you are using pH care, no, your special wash, it says pH of 5.5. Tama po ba? Because of course our skin is slightly acid. Our skin is slightly acid. Our sweat, even yung pawis natin is slightly acidic. Kaya sour siya, no? If you try to taste your sweat, it's sour. Okay, so going down from neutral, that would be acidic. Going up, that would be basic. Kaya sinasabi nila, if you run out of your pH care dahil acidic ka, or acidic siya, no, you can actually use vinegar. So po pwede sa mga babae natin na students, if you don't have pH care, pag wala kayong pH care, no, hindi kayo makalabas dahil MECQ, pero sanay kayong gumamit ng feminine wash o pH care nga, you can actually use vinegar as a substitute. Okay, so po pwedeng vinegar as a substitute dahil it is also acidic. Pero wag naman yung sobrang acidic na vinegar, no? Wag naman yung Biyernes Santo, no? Yung binuro, yung kinalkal mo pa sa lupa na vinegar. Alright, so again for number 19, your answer would be letter D. That's an acid. Okay, now we go to number 20. Chalk, limestone, and marble are remains of seashells deposited in the seas millions of years ago. They're all forms of letter A, sodium sulfite, letter B, carbon dioxide, letter C, calcium carbonate, or letter D, calcium hydroxide. Ano kaya yung tamang sagot for question number 20? This is the last one for GenEd. Okay, last one na po ito for our GenEd. Then we'll have a short break. Then, of course, we're going to have the questions for ProfEd. Sukang tuba. Pwede kaya? Sabi ni Sir GJ. Yes, tama yan. Pwede daw. Okay, for number 20, a lot of your answer will letter C. Okay, karamihan sa inyo, letter C yung sagot. Dito sa Facebook, ganun din, letter C. Okay, huwag na nating patagilin pa. That's the correct answer. Okay, so these are examples of calcium carbonate. Okay, so some examples, organisms that are examples of calcium carbonate, you have your mollusk shell, so lahat ng shell mo, foraminifera. Okay, so these are examples of your calcium carbonate, and that's the correct answer. All right, so I hope you have gotten a score of 60% out of 20. Okay, so 60% out of 20, that would be 12. Okay, so dapat naka-12 kayo. Okay, now let's take a very short break. Okay, kuha lang ako ng food, no? We are going to be back by 8:20. Balik po tayo ng 8:20. All right, we are back. So again, if you are still not members of Grow po is Gurong Pinoy Review online work group where we send all the exclusive materials that we have. Not only those that we are discussing here, but also some of the materials that we can find that we know would help you pass the let. All the details are there po. You can pay through Palawan, Cebuana ML. And then right after you pay po, you just send us the receipt through our Facebook page, no? I-inbox nyo po, i-message nyo, huwag nyo pong i-comment doon po sa mismong Gurong Pinoy official Facebook page, okay? Huwag nyo pong i-send sa kung saan-saan. Doon na po sa Facebook page ng Gurong Pinoy and then we are going to add you to Grow. Now, another option that you can have if you cannot go out is to send us a super sticker during our live stream. So all you need to do is, is to send your payment no through our super chat super sticker pagka meron po tayong live stream on YouTube. Okay? So YouTube po, pag nila-live stream tayo sa YouTube, po pwede po kayo mag-send ng inyong payment. So again, our live stream schedules for this month would be Saturday and Sunday, 7 p.m. That's PH time. All right, now we continue. We go to your ProfEd. We continue with ProfEd, 20 items. We go to question number 1. Which characteristic of a good test will pupils be assured of when a teacher conducts a table of specifications for test construction purposes? Is it letter A, reliability, letter B, scoreability, letter C, administrability, or letter D, content validity? Watching from Riyadh, good evening or good afternoon pa yata dyan. Sir Willie Ferrer. Sir Barbosa Squad, with regards to your question, now what's the difference between acculturation and enculturation? This is in social dimensions. Enculturation po is when you are learning your own culture. Enculturation is when you are learning your own culture. Acculturation naman po is when you learn some parts of another people's culture. Okay, so for example, if you go to another country and you learn some parts of their culture, but you are not letting go of your own culture. So meron lamang blending of two cultures, that would be acculturation. Okay, now on Facebook, a lot of you are answering with letter D. On YouTube, on Facebook, merong A, may D. Now, when you say scoreability, we go back to our choices here. Okay, sabi ng question mo, ano nga ba yung characteristic ng good test na na-assure pag yung teacher mo ay gumagawa ng TOS, ng Table of Specifications. Now, when you say scoreability, madaling i-score yung test. Okay? That's the meaning of scoreability. Administrability naman, madali siyang i-administer, madali siyang ibigay sa estudyante mo. Okay? Hindi siya mahirap ibigay na klase ng test. Now, when you say reliability, there is a consistency to your scores. No? May consistency yung score ng estudyante. So that means, pag pinakuha mo yung estudyante ng test na yan ngayon, nakakuha siya ng 20, after a few weeks, pinakuha mo siya ulit, 20 pa rin yung score niya, no? So that means may consistency yung scores mo. That would be reliability. Now, content validity naman, this means yung test really measures what it intends to measure. That means natatarget ng test yung mga objectives mo, natatarget ng test kung ano yung goals mo, ano yung competencies na gusto mong i-test niya. Okay, so the correct answer that we have here would be letter D, content validity po. Okay, content validity is the correct answer. That would be table of specifications. Thank you, Sir Mark Prince Del Campo, for your pakape, for your ayuda. Maraming salamat po. All right, now we go to number 2. Which among the following is a measure of variability? This is very easy. Letter A, mean. Letter B, median. Letter C, range. Letter D, mode. Okay, ano kaya yung tamang sagot for number 2? Again, I'd like to welcome those people who are watching us on Facebook. A lot of you are first-timers, no? Kakabukas nyo lang ng Facebook. Marahil this is your first time to watch our live stream. We've been doing this for several times already, more than a month already. Again, this is StudyLink Gurung Pinoy. We are an authority in the licensure examination for teachers. We know what we're doing. We're in this business for more than 10 years already. We used to own StudyLink Review and Tutorial Center in Iloilo, but now our entire family is residing in South Carolina, USA, and so our review center is closed. And now we're helping students pass the lead through our online discussions. But we also have, we conduct live streams Saturday, Sunday, 7 p.m. PH time, okay, through YouTube, through Facebook. And you can also join us by joining GROW. GROW is Guru Pinoy Review Online Work Group. That's where we send all the exclusive materials that we have. The details on how to join GROW is found at the beginning of this video, also between GenEd and ProfEd. Okay, measure variability. This is like a bonus to many of you. You know that in assessment, we have measures of central tendency. We also have measures of variability. When you say measures of central tendency, it measures how clumped in the middle the scores are, okay? How clumped the scores are. So your measures of central tendency would be mean, median, and mode. We have a separate video on that. So make sure that you watch that video. What's the differences between mean, median, and mode? What are you going to use when your distribution or your scores are normally distributed? What are you going to use when your scores are skewed? Okay, so that's your measures of central tendency. Measures of variability naman, this would measure how diverse, how dispersed, how far away from the middle are the scores. Okay, so how dispersed they are, how different the scores are, how spread they are. Okay, and some examples of measures of variability would be your standard deviation, mean deviation, your range. So that would be the correct answer. Okay, so letter C, that's the correct answer. Letter C po, that's the range. Okay, so number 2 is letter C. Now we go to number 3. Which of the following is not a factor in errors in measurement? The test questions may get outdated. The students may take the test for granted. The practice effect. The practice effect may increase a student's score. The practice effect of taking the test twice may measure different attributes. Good evening, first-timer, si Ma'am Chacha Hugalbot, Impas, Kalinawan. Ma'am Mary Rose Lucido, good evening po. Second time to watch, Sir Oramanis, watching live stream. Hi from Tawi-Tawi. Good evening, Ma'am Ophelia Samson from Alain, Abu Dhabi. Good evening po. Okay, now what do you think is the correct answer for question number 3? Ano kaya yung tamang sagot for number 3? Okay, now some of you are answering, many of you are answering letter B on YouTube. Karamihan sa YouTube, B ang sagot. Sa Facebook naman, may B, may C, may D. Okay, so again for number 3, the question is, which of the following is not a factor in errors in measurement? So hinahanap natin, hindi siya factor in errors. Hindi siya error sa measurement. That means tama yung assessment mo, tama yung evaluation mo, tama yung measurement mo ng pagkatuto ng iyong estudyante. Okay? Is it letter A, the test questions may get outdated? Pag outdated yung test question mo, alam mo na magiging error yan dahil maaaring hindi na valid yung test mo. Maaaring hindi mo na ituro yung mga items na nandyan sa test dahil outdated na nga yung test questions mo, no? Lumang test questions. Letter B, the students may take the test for granted. If the students are taking the test for granted, alam mong magiging error din yan. Hindi mo na may measure ng tama ang kanilang pagkatuto dahil hindi nila sinasagutan ng maayos yung test mo. Now, we're left with C and D. Okay, we're just left with C and D. Pareho silang practice effect. Ito, practice effect din. Ang letter D mo, sabi nga, the practice effect of taking the test twice may measure different attributes. Now, alam natin na kung i-take mo na, no, nakuha mo na yung test na to, at ni-retake mo siya, magiging iba na yung iyong score. Okay? So that can become an error in your measurement. Pero yung sabi kasi ng letter C mo dito, the practice effect may increase a student score. It does not mean, hindi sinasabi dito na binigay mo siya ng 2 beses, pinaulit mo yung text sa kanya. Sinabi lamang dito ay practice effect. That means nagdi-drill yung bata, nagtitest siya, nagre-review siya, no? The practice effect may increase a student score. And that would be correct. Okay? So letter C would be the correct answer. Okay, so letter C po yung tamang sagot. It is not a factor in error. That means napapractice lang yung bata, nagdi-drill yung bata, nagpe-prepare siya for your test. Now, this is what you actually are doing right now. Okay, ito din yung ginagawa nyo ngayon. Nagpa-practice din kayo for your LEP. Okay, so the practice effect may increase a student score, and that's correct. All right, now we go to question number 4. To improve comprehension and retention among the students, the teacher's best option would be to use letter A, the 6 thinking hats, letter B, SQ3R, letter C, contextual clues, or letter D, autodidactic activities. Okay, ano kaya yung tamang sagot for question number 4? Okay, again, I'd like to greet all those people who are watching us for the first time. Welcome po to our live streams, especially those people who are watching us on YouTube, on Facebook, I mean, because ang Facebook karamihan sa inyo ay first-timers. So again, make sure that you are subscribed to our YouTube channel. Also follow our Facebook page. If you'd want to become a member of Grow, which is our exclusive FB group where you can receive all the exclusive materials and additional materials that can help you pass the LEP, the details can be found at the beginning of this video and also in the middle between GenEd and ProfEd discussion. Okay, now thank you so much for sharing our video and also for starting a watch party. Ma'am Jeneline, Ma'am Joy, Sir John, Sir Biniel, Ma'am Kimberly, Ma'am Chris, Ma'am Annalie, Sir Curson, Ma'am Mary Rose, Sir Christy, Ma'am Chacha, thank you po. Okay, so again for number 4, to improve comprehension and retention among the students, the teacher's best option would be to use, you are trying to improve comprehension and retention. Okay, you have the choices, the 6 thinking hats, SQ3R, contextual clues, or autodidactic activities. Now, contextual clues, alam niyo naman yung ibig sabihin ng context clues na tinatawag natin, no? If you don't know a meaning of the sentence, the meaning of a word, for example, you just read the entire sentence at kukuha ka ng clues doon kung paano ginamit yung word. Okay, so that's your context clues. Autodidactic activities, when you say something is autodidactic, that means walang ibang nagturo sa inyo. Ang ibig sabihin ng autodidactic would be self-taught. Okay, teaching yourself. Kunwari, natuto kang mag-gitara, autodidactically. That means walang ibang nagturo sa'yo, inaral mo lang. Okay, self-taught, that's autodidactic. Okay, the correct answer, of course, here would be SQ3R. SQ3R po yung tamang sagot. SQ3R, this means survey. Okay, you survey, you question. Then you have the 3 R's. You read, you recite, you review the information. Okay, so this is usually used to improve comprehension and retention among the students. So, survey, you scan the text, tingnan mo yung diagrams, yung lahat ng words na meron ka, you question, you ask yourself, and then of course, kailangan mong basahin, kailangan mong i-recite, and then you should also review. Okay, so that's the meaning of SQ3R, and that's the correct answer. Letter B po is the correct answer. That's SQ3R. Now, ano naman tong choice letter A mo, no? Choice A natin, the 6 thinking hats. Ito po yung 6 thinking hats. This is from Edward de Bono. Siya po yung nagbigay sa atin ng 6 thinking hats. And this is used for idea generation and evaluation. So, pag nag-brainstorm kayo, for example, you are working in an office, you're working in a certain company, tapos nagbe-brainstorm kayo, or pag may natapos na kayong activity, tapos ini-evaluate nyo siya, tinitingnan nyo kung ano yung nagawa nyong maganda, ano nagawa nyong tama. Sabi ni Edward de Bono, dapat gumagamit kayo ng different colors of hats when you are trying to generate ideas or when you are trying to evaluate. Tapos, so ito yung mga different colors na binigay sa atin ni Edward de Bono. There's the white hat, the yellow hat, black hat, and so on. So pag yung white hat, you are just looking at the different data, different facts, different insights. Pag yellow hat naman, you're looking at the strength. So, kunwari evaluation ito, no? Sabihin nyo, ano ba yung mga naging maganda? Okay, so if you're wearing the white hat, sasabihin nyo, for example, you can do this as a group. Okay, so pwedeng sabihin na moderator ng chairman nyo na, okay, now let's try to wear the yellow hat. Meaning, bigay nyo lahat ng strengths. Okay, lahat ng strengths ng ating program, ng ating activity na ginawa. Pag sinabi niyang, let's try to wear the black hat, ano naman yung nakita niyong weaknesses? Ano yung threats? What can be improved? Ito yung sinasabi ng green hat mo. Yung red naman is for feelings. How do you feel? And then, how are we doing? You need to reflect. That's the blue hat. Okay? So, pwede siyang gawin nyo as a group, you'll have the chance to wear the white hat, yellow hat, the red hat, or pwede ding grupo kayo, tapos merong naka-assign kayo, white hat. So you think about ideas, you think about the facts, the insights. Kayo naman, you wear the red hat. You think about your feelings. Okay, so this is the 6 Thinking Hats by Edward de Bono. So yung nagiging result nito ay nagiging holistic, yung inyong idea generation, nagiging holistic yung iyong evaluation. Hindi lamang siya based on facts, meron ding feelings, may strengths, may opportunities. Okay, so holistic nga yung inyong evaluation, yung inyong brainstorming. Okay, so this is the 6 Thinking Hats by Edward de Bono. Okay, now we go to the next question. Number 5, Teacher May would like to compare and contrast plant cells versus animal cells. She would most likely use letter A, fishbone diagram, letter B, Venn diagram, letter C, tree diagram, or letter D, KWL chart. Okay, ano kaya yung tamang sagot for question number 5? Good evening po, Ma'am Anastasia Pelare Primalie. Good evening po. Just finished taking dinner. Sorry na late. Gonna watch the replay on YouTube. That's from Ma'am Mary Jane Basobas Ocon. Good evening po. All right, so again, going back to question number 5, you have a teacher who'd like to compare and contrast two things. Now, by the way, we have a separate video for your plant cells versus animal cells dahil kadalasan din po silang lumalabas sa GenEd natin sa LET. No? So, balikan nyo po yung mga videos natin. Lahat po ng videos nandyan na po sa YouTube. Okay, so plant cells versus animal cells. Ano nga ba yung pagkakaiba? But then here, going back to our question, the correct graphic organizer that your teacher can use here would be your Venn diagram, of course. Okay, so your Venn diagram, this is a space where you have the characteristics of the first object, the first entity, and this is a space where you can find the characteristics of the second entity. The one in the middle would be their similarities. Okay, so that's both A and B. That would be your Venn diagram. Now, ang fishbone diagram mo naman is used for cause and effect. Okay, fishbone diagram, it looks like this. And this is a graphic organizer that we use to show cause and effect. Lumalabas din po ito sa LET. What graphic organizer can be used to show cause and effect? And that would be your fishbone. Okay? Now, tree diagram, this is like your family tree. Okay? So may sanga-sanga. It would show the hierarchical relationship. No? Sinong nauna, sinong mas mataas, and so on. KWL chart mo naman, this is to measure what your students know, what your students want to know or want to learn, and what the students learn. So parang prior knowledge siya and post knowledge. So prior organizer or pre-organizer and post organizer. So again, the KWL here stands for what I know, what I want to learn, and what I learned. Okay, lumalabas din po yan sa LET. Minsan yung LET nagtatanong, oh, what's the meaning of L in the KWL chart? Okay, so that means what I have learned or what I learned. Okay, so the correct answer would be Letter B. We go to number 6. The students of teacher Corazon feels that their teacher has an eye behind her head. This characteristic of the teacher is known as referent power, widethness, Pygmalion effect, Rosenthal effect. Okay, ano kaya yung tamang sagot for question number 6, Prof Ed? Again, welcome po sa lahat ng mga kaguru natin, lahat ng mga online students natin na nasa Facebook. If this is your first time watching us, make sure that you also subscribe to our YouTube channel. Watch all the playlists that we have here on YouTube. Now there's a playlist for GenEd, playlist for ProfEd, and also GenEd, ProfEd live streams, the previous live streams that we have. And of course, make sure that you follow our Facebook page. Also, those who are on YouTube, please like this video po. Huwag kalimutang mag-like ng video. People who are watching on YouTube, do like the video. And also, thank you so much for all those people who are sharing our video on their Facebook accounts. Also, those people who have started a watch party. Okay, now going back to the question that we have here. The question says, the students of teacher Corazon feels that their teacher has an eye behind her head. This characteristic of the teacher is known as, now you have the different choices that you have there, referent power, widethness, Pygmalion effect, Rosenthal effect. Now, referent power, we've talked about this in our previous live streams. As a teacher, you can have several different types of powers. Meron kong tinatawag na referent power. If you have referent power, common question in the LET, is that you are making the students feel at ease, making the students feel that they belong, that they are cared for when they are in the classroom. That's referent power. Pag sinabi mo namang expert power, that means you know what you're talking about. You have the mastery of the subject. That's expert power. Meron ka din tinatawag na legitimate power. You have that power because you are the authority. You are the teacher in the classroom. Okay, so those are the different types of powers that we have. Maraming beses lumalabas din ito sa LET. Ang iyong widethness, that would be the correct answer. Ito yung sinasabing ang teacher has an eye behind her head. Now, we have a separate video on this. Makikita nyo sa ating playlist on ProfEd. Meron po tayong video where I have discussed widethness, dangler, flip-flops, all those stuff. Okay, so tingnan nyo po yung playlist natin. Again, go back to our YouTube channel and check our GenEd playlist, ProfEd playlist, and more importantly, of course, our discussions of LET, no? So GenEd and ProfEd live streams natin, meron din tayong playlist yan. Now, Pygmalion effect mo, this also called Rosenthal effect, magkaparehas lang po yan. Or this is also called the self-fulfilling prophecy. Okay, so Pygmalion effect, Rosenthal effect, also known as self-fulfilling prophecy. Okay, yan din po yung isang katawagan sa kanya, self-fulfilling prophecy. This means people are significantly influenced by the expectations that are built upon them. My teacher says, I will pass this math exam, and so I will pass it. Okay, so that's Pygmalion effect. Also known as Rosenthal effect, also known as self-fulfilling prophecy. Parehas lang po yan. Okay? But then again, the correct answer, of course, would be letter B, widethness. All right, now we go to number 7. During the distribution of report cards, which of the following must be the foremost concern of a teacher? Letter A, discuss a project of the school. Letter B, discuss the progress as well as the deficiencies of the students. Letter C, discuss the unsettled bills of the students. Letter D, discuss the complaints of other teachers and classmates of the students. Ano nga ba yung pinaka-importanting gagawin ng isang guro during the distribution of report cards? Okay, what should be the foremost concern of a teacher during the distribution of your report cards? Okay, now a lot of you on YouTube are already answering. Now, on YouTube, ganun din. Karamihan sa inyo, tama yung sagot. And that would be Letter B, discuss the progress as well as the deficiencies of the students. Yan dapat yung binibigyang pansin nyo, binibigyang halaga kapag ka-report card. Hindi yung project ng school, hindi yung bayarin ng estudyante, hindi yung complaints ng teachers and classmates ng students. Okay, so letter B is the correct answer. All right, now we go to number 8. How would you classify the purpose of the school as it concerns with the training and preparation of citizens for the world of work? Is it A, political purpose, letter B, cognitive purpose, letter C, economic purpose, or letter D, social purpose? Anong klase, anong purpose ito ng school pag pine-prepare niya yung mga estudyante for the world of work? Okay, what do you think is the correct answer for number 8? Political purpose, cognitive purpose, economic purpose, or social purpose? Okay, iba-iba na yung sagot nyo. Dito sa Facebook, may letter C, may D. Okay, ganun din sa YouTube, may A, may B, may C, may D. Okay, again, sabi ng inyong question, how would you classify the purpose of the school as it concerns with the training and preparation of citizens for the world of work? Now, this is according to Desmarais and Leconte in 1995. They outlined 4 major purposes of schooling that include, the first one would be your intellectual purposes. Examples of this would be the formation of your mathematical skills, no, improvement of your math skills. That's intellectual purposes. Intellectual purpose, or po pwede nyo din naman tawagin itong cognitive. Because of course, when we're talking about cognitive, that is primarily talking about the mind, no, the brain. Political purpose, examples of this, of course, would be assimilation of immigrants. Of course, this is with regards to what's happening in the government, no? Politics. Economic purpose is for job preparation for jobs, and social purposes is for the development of social and moral responsibilities. Sa makatuwid, the correct answer would be letter C, economic purpose po, para sa ekonomiya ng Pilipinas, laban lang, sabi ni Ma'am Grace Flores. Okay, so that's letter C, economic purpose is the correct answer. Now we go to number 9. After listening to the homily of the priest about fidelity, Catherine had a moment to reflect as she related this to her past experiences. This typifies what kind of philosophy? Constructivism, environmentalism, perennialism, existentialism. Ano kaya yung tamang sagot for question number 9? Okay, number 9. What do you think is the correct answer for number 9? We're talking about isms. We already have a separate video on this. If you still haven't watched it, then do watch our video titled The Isms of Education. Lahat po ng isms na discuss na doon. You can find that video as part of the ProfEd playlist that we have in our YouTube channel. Okay, so again, that's part of the ProfEd playlist on our YouTube channel. Okay, now a lot of you are answering A, others D. Okay, A. I will not go into details with regards to the rest of the isms here. So ano nangyari kay Catherine? Nag-homily yung pare, salita yung pare about fidelity. Fidelity, of course, is being loyal, being truthful, being trustworthy, especially in relationships. Okay, so pag loyal, that means may fidelity siya, no? Catherine had a moment to reflect. So nag-reflect si Catherine at nirelate niya ito sa kanyang past experiences. Okay? So gumawa siya ng sarili niyang meaning. From the homily of the pare, pinrocess niya ito sa kanyang brain, pinrocess niya ito sa kanyang mind, nag-reflect siya with regards to her past experiences. And so, of course, this would be constructivism. Okay? He made her own meaning. He made her own meaning of the term fidelity, based on not only what the priest has given her, but also through reflecting on her past experiences. Okay, so constructivism po, that's the correct answer. That's letter A. Ma'am Emily Zamora Balbin, thank you so much po for sharing our video, for starting a watch party. Sir Tuan Moray, Sir Arkim, Ma'am Christy. Okay, number 10. Teacher Rita is a new teacher. She realizes that handling students' misbehavior is a very demanding aspect of classroom management. In this regard, she thought of giving up teaching. What can you advise her? Is it letter A, disagree with the class on what rules to follow? Letter B, report every student's misbehavior to the principal? Letter C, set the ground rules for the whole class? Or letter D, none of the above? Okay, ano kaya yung tamang sagot for question number 10? Oh, maraming naligwak sa question number 9. All right, again, for those people who are watching us on Facebook, if this is your first time, make sure that you follow our Facebook page so that you can be informed of the next videos that we have. Also, if you can, go to our YouTube channel, that's still Guru Pinoy, like our videos, also subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if this is your first time to watch us, we have so many videos that can help you pass the LET. They're all found in our YouTube channel. There's a separate playlist for GenEd, another playlist for ProfEd, and of course, there's a playlist for GenEd and ProfEd live streams. Okay, so all the previous live streams that we have, you can find on our YouTube channel. Okay, so if this is your first time to watch us, make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, like this video, watch this video together with your friends. Those people are also going to take the LET. Share it on your Facebook account so we can help more people pass the LET. If you'd want to receive more exclusive materials, then you can be part of GROW. GROW is Guru Pinoy Review Online Work Group, the details of which you can find at the beginning of this video or between the GenEd and ProfEd. Okay, so again, we are studying Gurung Pinoy. We used to have our physical review center in Iloilo, but now we're doing things online, not only because of the pandemic, but also, of course, because we are not in the Philippines. We're residing in the US because I teach high school in Manning High School, South Carolina, USA. Okay, so my family is also with me. All right, now again, number 10, Teacher Rita is a new teacher. She realizes that handling misbehavior is very difficult. So what can you advise her? Now, this is really true, okay? If you are, right after you pass the LET, of course, you're going to pass the LET in March. All of you are going to pass the LET in March. And right after that, we are going to have our victory party, and then you are going to start teaching. And as new teachers, you are going to face a lot of challenges, especially if the students know that it is your first time to teach. Okay, so what can you advise such teacher, a teacher who is having a difficult time handling misbehavior of students? Disagree with the class on what rules to follow? Report every student's misbehavior to the principal? Set the ground rules for the whole class? Or none of the above? The correct answer, of course, would be letter C, to set the ground rules for the whole class. Okay, so this is very important. Once you start your class, first day of class, I'm starting with this school year after 2 weeks, no? 2 Mondays from now. We are going to start with the school year 2020. We're starting online, but of course, even if it's online, we need to set the ground rules for the whole class. And most importantly, or more importantly, you need to be consistent with your rules. Okay? So dapat consistent ka lagi sa rules mo. Pag sinabi mong pag tumayo ka ng walang permission, I will text your parent, I will call your parent, then do it. Okay? Because if you don't do it, the students would say, ay, okay lang yan kay ma'am. Ako nga, tumayo naman ako, hindi naman niya tinawagan yung parents ko. Okay? So be consistent with your rules and you set your ground rules at the beginning of the school year. All right, number 11, what practice will demonstrate the teacher's genuine concern on the learning of the students? Confirms the progress of students with parents, guides students to meet their learning goals, validates if learning goals are met. Letter D, all of the above. Now, if I'm not mistaken, we have a very similar topic, or we have a similar question, no, before. So, maaaring nakita nyo ng question na to. So, I'm pretty sure that you can get the correct answer. Okay, so claim it. You are going to become LPT soon. Okay, so many of you are answering the letter D on YouTube. This is a very common question. And of course, letter D is the correct answer. So lahat naman ito tama, okay? So all of these are showing the teacher's genuine concern on the learning of the students, confers the progress, guides the students to meet the goal and to validate if really the learning goals were met. Okay, so letter D is the correct answer. Now we go to 12. Which of the following is an important component of the whole system approach in education? Letter A, using better books to teach students. Letter B, allowing the students to participate more in extracurricular activities. Letter C, hiring only the excellent teachers. Letter D, involving the parents in the education of their children. Okay, ano kaya yung tamang sagot for question number 12? Thank you so much for starting a watch party. Sir Ryan Dumalanta, Sir Macrigs Bagkat, Ma'am Mary Zeldrin Lumando. Some of you I've already mentioned a while ago. Ma'am Christine Tamayo, thank you po. Okay, so again for number 12, a lot of you are answering the letter D sa Facebook. Dito sa YouTube, marami din letter D. Now, when we say whole systems approach kasi, sabi ng whole systems approach in education mo, dapat lahat ng stakeholders ay involved sa education. So, hindi lamang yung admin, hindi lamang yung teachers, of course, hindi lamang yung students, hindi lamang yung community, but also, most importantly, napaka-importante is letter D. Tama kayo. Involving the parents in the education of their children. Dapat kasi may follow-up no, sa bahay. Dapat fina-follow up din ng parents. This is very important, especially now in the times of, in our pandemic, no? Dahil nga karamihan sa atin magiging online. So, dito nga sa Amerika, mas gusto nilang pabalikin yung mga estudyante face-to-face dahil ayaw ng parent na nagtuturo, wala silang patience, and of course, marami sa kanila nagtatrabaho, so they cannot really take care of the online learning of their kids. So they'd want to have their kids return to school na physically, face-to-face, pero thankfully, hindi naman kami face-to-face. So sa amin, online lang din until September 14th. Then by September 14th, they have the option to just ask their students, their kids to go to school, pero 1 day a week lang. So 1 day a week, po pwedeng may face-to-face. Okay? So ito yung karamihan din na nagiging dilemma ng mga parents ngayon. No? They cannot go to work because and they need to also support their students, which is true naman. Dapat sinusuporta ng parents ang kanilang mga kids, no? Don't leave the education of your kids entirely to the school. Okay, so number 12, that's letter D. All right, now we go to number 13. The failure in the test of independence among Filipino students can be attributed to letter A, lack of skills, letter B, high degree of dependence on authority, letter C, strong family ties, or letter D, none of the above. Ma'am Vil Bolok-Bolok, thank you for starting a watch party. Ma'am Annalise Subido, thank you po. Sir Rodel Soriano, thank you. Ma'am Joy, Ma'am Mary Rose, maraming salamat po. Okay, now again, number 13 dito. Sabi ng number 13 mo, the failure in the test of independence among Filipino students can be attributed to, okay? So related din siya sa online teaching, no? Karamihan sa mga estudyante natin cannot become independent. Okay, so in the Philippines, it's very common for us to see people, kahit na grown-ups na, marahil kayo, no? 18, 19, 20, 21, 23, 25, nasa bahay pa rin ng parents. Okay, this is very true in the Philippines. Dito naman sa amin, dito sa Amerika, by the age of 17, dito sa South Carolina, by the age of 17, they're already considered independent. So meron kami mga estudyante who would already drop out of school at the age of 17. They just want to work in Walmart, they just want to work in malls. So kahit sabihin ng parents na I'd like you to continue studying, walang magagawa yung parents because at the age of 17, they can already make their own decisions. So pwede silang lumabas ng bahay, they can live independently. Okay? So very different. Sometimes before the pandemic, we would usually see this, and it's very evident now when we would take my child, my daughter, si Baby Rain, dinadala namin sa park nang wala pang pandemic. Makikita mo yung ibang mga bata ng mga Amerikano, no, yung American kids. They just let the kids play. 1-year-old, 2 years old, hinahayaan lang umaakyat kahit matumba, bahala na. Pero tayo mga Pinoy, my child, my daughter is already 3 years old, pero nakaalalay pa rin tayo, no? So nakaalalay pa rin si nanay ni Baby Rain. Okay, so ibang-iba yung pagpapalaki ng mga Pinoy talaga. Okay, kesa sa mga foreigners. All right, so again, going back to 13, the failure in the test of independence among Filipino students. Bakit nga ba hindi tayo independent? Marami sa atin yung nakadepende pa rin. It is because of letter B, high degree of dependence on authority. Takot tayo sa ating mga magulang. Okay, so sometimes it can be something good, pero pag sumobra naman, it can be something which is negative na din. Okay, you cannot make decisions on your own. Kailangan nandiyan yung nanay mo. Okay, so that's letter B. Letter B po, yung tamang sagot. Number 14. Which of the following would be the most fitting action of a teacher who is having a relationship with his student? Letter A, deny the relationship. Letter B, enjoy the relationship while it lasts. Letter C, defer the relationship until they are allowed to have it. Letter D, exercise utmost professional discretion about it. Okay, ano kaya yung tamang sagot for number 14? Oh, yan na Sir Javier, Sir Mark, hello daw. Nakita lang yung word na relationship, nag-hello ka agad. Sir Gary Apilanyo, thank you po for watching our video and for starting a watch party. Sir Rafael Patindol, thank you po. Sir Rafael, from where po kayo? Meron po ako mga Patindol na relatives from La Carlota, Negros. Sir Rodel, salamat po. Sir Curson. Okay, the rest of you have already mentioned kanina. Maraming salamat po. Hi din daw sa'yo, Sir Javier, sabi ni Sir Mark. Okay, number 14. A lot of you are answering with the letter D, and that is the correct answer. Okay, so that's the correct answer. Letter D, exercise utmost professional discretion about it. Okay, so which of the following would be the most fitting action, believe it or not? Sabi ng Code of Ethics mo, you should just exercise utmost professional discretion. So meaning, konsentidora itong Code of Ethics. Po pwedeng mag-boyfriend-girlfriend yung teacher at student, pero dapat discreet kayo about it. Huwag nyong gawing bulgar. Okay, so letter D is the correct answer. Now we go to number 15. The following is true in the development of understanding in early childhood, except letter A, sensory experiences. Letter B, ability to explore their environment. Letter C, ability to reason and to see relationships. Letter D, ability to ask questions. Okay, I believe this is also a repeat question sa ating mga parokyano, sa mga nandyan lagi sa YouTube, no? Especially since we started in YouTube. Okay, this is a repeat question, and I'm pretty sure you already know the correct answer. Sir Eromanis, nandito ka din sa Facebook. Thank you po for starting a watch party. Ma'am Christine, thank you. Ma'am Lindsay, thank you po. Ma'am Josephine, thank you po. Hello. Good evening po, Ma'am Josephine. Sir Joshua Beltran, thank you po. Sekretong malupit, sabi ni Ma'am Annalie. Hi from Negros Oriental, Ma'am Josephine Bailon. Okay, so yung patindol mo, Sir Rafael, is from Leyte. Okay. My relatives who are patindol, originally from Cebu din. We are originally from Cebu City. My maiden name is Saison. So my father's family is from Cebu City din, from Tuburan. Okay, so sabi, the following is true in the development of understanding in early childhood. Ito po yung tip nyo, okay? Yung hint nyo dito, early childhood, meaning bata pa siya, no? Maliit pa talaga yung bata. Sensory experiences, ability to explore the environment, ability to reason, to see relationships, or ability to ask questions. Of course, the correct answer would be letter C, ability to reason. Wala pa siyang masyadong reasoning. Okay, wala pa siyang logic. At that early age, wala pang logic. So sensory experiences lamang, ability to explore the environment. Kaya yung mga anak nyo, katulad din ng anak ko, no, lahat ng pwedeng ikalat, kinakalat. Ability to ask questions, sobrang curious ng mga bata. Okay, so letter C is the correct answer. Now we go to number 16. Some children go through a period of intense appetite when they eat or chew on all sorts of inedible substances. This is called pica, enuresis, and compresses anorexia. Okay, so number 16. Ma'am Christine Devibar, welcome po. Yes, tama, Sir Joshua. No? In our previous question, it was except. Except yung sinabi. Hindi po ako masyadong marunong magbisaya, Ma'am Josephine. Hindi po ako marunong magbisaya. Nakakaintindi ng slide, pero hindi po ako marunong magsalita. All right, those people who are on YouTube, many of you are answering the letter A, B. O, yung topic niyo naman dito ngayon ay COVID. Okay. Pag umubo, may COVID agad, no? Ma'am Grace, dito nga nahulog sa kahoy, may COVID daw. All right, so A, on Facebook, a lot of people are also answering the letter A, and that is the correct answer. Okay, so you call this pica. Pica is when children eat or chew on all sorts of inedible substances. So napakahirap pag meron tayong small kids, kaya yung mga toys natin ay may mga warning, this is only good for kids who are 3 years old and above. Kasi sometimes there are some parts that are very small and it can cause them to choke. Dahil nga kung anong mga nahawakan nila minsan ay sinusubo nila. Okay, so that's pica. Now, anorexia, I've discussed this before. Sabi ng anorexia naman, this is an eating disorder as well as a psychological disorder. Yung anorexia, yung feeling mo ay sobrang taba mo and so you're not eating anything. Okay, so that's anorexia. Meron ding another disorder which is similar to anorexia, but you call that bulimia. Yung bulimia naman, masyadong marami kang kain tapos sinusuka mo siya afterwards. Okay? Maraming kain tapos isusuka afterwards. That's bulimia. Now, enuresis naman, encopresis, pag sinabi mong enuresis, this is urinary incontinence. Kaya yung mga anak natin, pag masyado pang bata ay naka-diapers, dahil hindi pa nila nakokontrol ang kanilang urinary bladder, hindi pa nila alam kung paano mag-control ng kanilang wiwi. Okay, now, encopresis naman, this is repeated passing of feces into places other than the toilet. Nagpupupips kung saan-saan. Okay, so hindi nagpupupips sa toilet, nagpupupips kung saan-saan yung bata. That's encopresis. Okay, so enuresis is urinary incontinence. Encopresis is passing of stool, passing of feces in places other than the toilet. All right, now we go to number 17. Mrs. Garay was not accepted in a certain company because of her age. This discrimination based on age is called gerontism, autism, ageism, senilism. Yes. Tama yan, Sir Efren. Sabi ni Sir Efren, si Karen Carpenter may anorexia. Tama. Watching from Butuan City, Sir Mark John Gotham. Welcome po. Get well soon, Ma'am Rafaela. 'Yan, 'yan. 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 Okay, a lot of you on YouTube are answering with letter C. Ganun din dito sa Facebook, no? Alright, and that's the correct answer. So letter C, ageism po yung tamang sagot. That's the correct answer. Letter C, ageism is discrimination based on age. Now, autism, alam niyo naman kung ano yung autism. These are people on the spectrum. Pag sinasabi mong autistic, person with autism, usually wala siyang social skills. So hindi siya nakakatingin straight in the eye, wala silang eye contact, wala silang emotions, no, autism. Now, gerontism and senilism, they mean the same thing. Ito lamang po would mean something in relation to being old. Okay, senilism. Pagkaulyanin, these are dysfunctions, general term for a variety of organic disorders, both physical and mental, occurring in old age. So that's gerontism and senilism, the same meaning po yan. Okay, something that has to do with becoming old. Okay, so may physical and mental disorders ka na dahil nga matanda ka na. Okay, so letter C is the correct answer. This is discrimination based on age. All right, now we go to number 18, third to the last. Thomas's parents do not want their child with ADHD to undergo drug treatment. Their better alternative would be severe psychotherapy, behavior modification or behavior management, punishment, inhibitions. Ano kaya yung tamang sagot for question number 18? Oh, Sir Magriggs from Ras Al Khaimah, UAE. Hello po. Matatalino din itong nasa Facebook. Karamihan din sa kanila tama. Hindi nga lang sila, hindi pa kayo magkakakilala masyado, kaya limited pa yung interaction nila. Dito kasi yung mga estudyante ko kasi nasa YouTube, ito yung mga parokyano natin. This is my Maharot group. Okay, Maharot group. Kasi matagal na sila magkakakilala, so may mga tuksuhan na dito. Okay, now a lot of you sa Maharot group ko sa YouTube, a lot of you are answering the letter B. Dito naman sa Facebook, okay, letter B din, karamihan. And that's the correct answer. Tama po yan. Behavior modification or behavior management. So dito sa Amerika, meron silang tinatawag na BIP, no? BIP, Behavior Intervention Plan. Okay, so they have what they call the BIP. And this is what we do for kids who have special needs. Okay, so kung ayaw nila ng drug treatment, po pwedeng mag-behavioral modification. Okay, so hindi po severe psychotherapy, hindi din punishment, hindi din inhibition. So the correct answer would be letter B. We go to number 19. The ripple effect can also be seen in misdemeanor. The teacher should therefore reinforce negative behavior, immediately respond to misbehavior, be inconsistent in class management, or count 1 to 10 before she gets angry. No, sabi nila, yung mga nasa Maharot class sa YouTube, lipat kayo minsan dito kasi mas masaya sa YouTube. Sabi ni Ma'am Jasmine, kami daw, sila daw na nandito sa Facebook, mabait group. Watching from Davao de Oro, Ma'am Mary Lumando. Good evening po. Okay, so may mabait group na tayo. Itong mga nasa Facebook ay mga well-behaved, mga mabait group, mga mababait. Ito si Sir Javier sa YouTube. Kinikilig na daw. Okay, so again, number 19, the ripple effect can also be seen in misdemeanor. The teacher should therefore, so when you say ripple effect, ito kasi yung ripple effect, no? Hindi ko alam kung anong tawag dito sa Tagalog. But that means your action can influence the rest of the people who are around you. Okay, so meron din tayong quotation nito sa English, a single drop can make a wave, no? A single drop of water can make a wave. So your action, an action of a person, can easily affect those people who are around him. Now, usually, this can happen in a positive way. So, pwede siyang positive. So, that's why kailangan natin i-reinforce yung positive behavior. Someone does something good, we reinforce it. So, para ma-influence din yung mga classmates niya, gayahin din siya, no? Gumawa din ng something good. But here kasi, your choice A mo, sabi ng choice A, reinforced negative behavior. So that means this cannot be the correct answer. This can't be the correct answer. Immediately respond to misbehavior, be inconsistent in class management. This also cannot be the correct answer. Count 1 to 10 before you get angry. Now, sabi ng question mo, the ripple effect can also be seen in misdemeanor. So that means, pag may isang estudyante ka na nag-misbehave, maaring the rest of the class would also misbehave. So, yung tamang sagot would be letter B. Immediately respond to misbehavior. So, bago pa niya ma-influence yung kanyang mga seatmates, yung kanyang mga estudyante, ay mag-respond ka na sa kanya. Okay, or better yet, maging proactive ka. You need to avoid misbehavior in class. Okay, so letter B is the correct answer for 19, and we are down to our last question tonight. The best example of operant conditioning among the following is letter A, connecting facts and concepts. Letter B, using reinforcement. Letter C, fostering conducive learning environment. Letter D, using manipulative device. Ano kaya ang tamang sagot? Sabi ni Sir Pinoy, si Ma'am Faith, mabait din naman daw sila, maharot nga lang. Playful lang sila, itong mga nasa YouTube. Kasi nga matagal na sila magkakakilala, palagi na sila nandito. Okay, ano kaya yung tamang sagot? For the last question in ProfEd. Okay, so again, if this is your first time to tune in to us, make sure that right after this video is done, go back to our Facebook page and follow our Facebook page. Also, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have so many videos that can help you pass the let, no? Nandyan sa YouTube channel. And of course, we are coming back tomorrow because our schedule for our live streams in the month of August this month is Saturday, Sunday, 7 p.m. So balik po kayo bukas 7 p.m. Okay, 7 p.m. po ng gabi. 7 ng gabi. Okay, so again, operant conditioning is under behaviorism, and this is, of course, by Burroughs Frederick Skinner, B.F. Skinner. And I have already mentioned this to you before. Pag sinabi mong classical conditioning ni Pavlov, yung mga terms that are connected with it would be your trauma, your phobia. Okay, classical conditioning po yung phobia, trauma. Operant conditioning mo naman, that would be reward, punishment, feedback, reinforcement, and computer-aided instruction. So based on the choices that we have here for operant conditioning, the correct answer would be letter P, using reinforcement. Okay, that's under B.F. Skinner. Again, reinforcement, reward, punishment, feedback, computer-aided instruction, that's part of operant conditioning. Okay, not connecting facts and concept, not fostering conducive learning environment, not using manipulative device. All right, that ends our discussion tonight. Okay, napakagaling. May mga naka-perfect. Meron naka-perfect sa GenEd, meron naka-perfect sa ProfEd, nandito sa ating YouTube. For those of you who are watching on Facebook, marahil ay hindi ninyo nirecord yung scores nyo, no? Hindi nyo sinulat yung mga answers nyo. Next time po, for tomorrow night, make sure that you have your review notebook, you write your answer, you check your own work so that we can keep track of your scores. Okay? Thank you so much. Bukas po ulit, sabi ng mga nandito sa Facebook. Sir, wala pong group chat yung mga nasa Grow. Nandun lang po lahat sa Facebook page natin. Sabi ni Sir Santim. First time mag-join ng review ni Sir Ryan Mark. Thank you po. All right, so again, we'll see you again. I'll see you again tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, that's still 7 p.m., Saturday, Sunday, in the entire month of August. That's Saturday, Sunday, 7 p.m. Philippine time. Okay, so again, we'll see each other again tomorrow night. Enjoy the rest of your night. Have a good night. Sleep well, of course. Be safe. Stay COVID-free. And we'll see you again tomorrow, okay? So again, this is Coach Mek Manaay. This is your Study Link Gurong Pinoy saying, maliit man na butil na mga kaalaman, ang dulo nito ay malaking kaginawaan. Maraming salamat po for joining us tonight. We'll see you tomorrow night. Bye! Good night!